This is Commander Shell of the Hickory Hound, and this is this week's News and Views for the week ending April the 20th, 2025. This week on the Hickory Hound, we examine the toll globalization has taken, not just on jobs, but on the American spirit itself. Tuesday's article, The Hidden Wound, traced how decades of offshoring hollowed out communities like ours and left a psychic scar still unhealed. On Thursday's podcast, the Catawba River Crisis, we followed the water upstream and the money downstream, showing how our most vital resource has been sacrificed to feed someone else's growth. Both pieces led to one question: can we still build something real for ourselves and not just for those who profit from our silence? This is entitled Smoke, Mud, and Money, How the Foothills Are Fighting Back After Helene. You're listening to the Hickory Hound. It's spring 2025 in the Foothills, but forget the flowers and sunshine. Here it's smoke in the air, mud underfoot, and the long grinding road to economic survival after Hurricane Helene flipped western North Carolina upside down. Let's get one thing straight. This isn't looking back. This is a live report from McDowell, Rutherford, Polk, and Cleveland counties. The economic aftermath of Helene, a crisis in the shadows. In the wake of Hurricane Helene, there are still people in crisis. Not just water damage and downed trees. We're talking about people, our western neighbors, living in tents, trailers, and other temporary housing. It gets worse. External investors, many with ties to lithium and quartz mining and other rare earth minerals, are swooping in, buying land from distressed homeowners for pennies on the dollar. That's not a deal. It's taking advantage of vulnerable people. And where's the federal aid? Apparently, $9 billion in aid was promised back in December, but barely a fraction has arrived. Where is the sense of urgency? Meanwhile, with the sense of urgency, corporate vultures have swooped in to pick the bones of these communities. This isn't just an economic story, it's a warning. When disaster strikes, rural folks become targets, not just of nature, but of a corrupt system that takes advantage of people when they are vulnerable. McDowell County, fire on the mountain. April 15, 2025. The Bee Rock Creek fire sparked near Armstrong Fish Hatchery. Over 850 acres scorched. Still, just 10% contained. 180 firefighters from across the region are fighting uphill, literally slopes jammed with trees and debris from Helene. Evacuations on Wild Acre Road, and that's just the start. McDowell's still reeling from the flood that shut down Baxter International's plant in Marion. Medical supply chains disrupted, jobs gone. And now this fire. More pressure, more strain. The North Carolina Forest Service is short over 100 people. Fires are burning faster than they can respond. Meanwhile, the Foothills Food Hub does what it can, but the gap is too wide. Rutherford County, hope on a dirty shoreline. Yes, Lake Lure is open. So are Rutherfordton, Spindale, and Forest City. But don't let the welcome signs fool you. Cleanup continues. Chimney Rock, still closed. Broad River, still clogged with debris. The dam, still looming. Oliver Anthony's rally brought in $80,000 for Helene recovery. SBA loans extended through April 27th. FEMA trickling in some help. But ask local businesses in downtown Rutherfordton, and they'll tell you it doesn't feel like recovery. It feels like survival. And the $633 million state budget for debris, Nice headline, but when it's split a dozen ways, most of it evaporates before it lands. Polk County, where the ashes are still hot. March brought 3 wildfires: Black Cove, Deep Woods, and Fish Hook. 6,000 acres torched. Only 10% contained by spring. Table Rock, now the biggest wildfire in the upstate history. Mandatory evacuations, 4 homes lost, air quality code red. Polk depends on farming and tourism. Wildfires crushed both. Landfills are maxed out. Debris is everywhere. FEMA is stepping in to help with roads and bridges. Reforestation grants are coming, but they can't keep pace. Locals are stepping up. Volunteers with chainsaws, farmers replanting. But let's be real, this is duct tape on a gaping wound. Cleveland County, the quiet struggle. Shelby went dark after Helene. Duke Energy had power mostly restored by October, but the damage didn't end there. Roads, homes, businesses still struggling. Cleveland has helped others, feeding kids, checking in on elderly, but that's not development, that's triage. Broadband is coming. US 74 is finally getting its upgrade. But these are seeds, and the soil is still scorched. Until the foundations are built, industry's not coming back, and time is running out. The big picture. Helene caused $60 billion in damage. 121,000 homes hit. 12,000 people still displaced as of January. Now wildfires fueled by over 800,000 acres of Helene debris are kicking recovery while it's down. Yes, there's help, but not enough, not fast enough, and not directed where it's needed most. Raleigh's debating ferry tolls. Meanwhile, our mountains are on fire. And it's the local folks, the food hubs, the volunteers, the school systems that are holding the line. The ones doing the most have the least to fall back on. Final thought, this isn't a story about doom. This is a story about grit. But grit doesn't pour concrete. It doesn't replace jobs. It doesn't build broadband. The Foothills corridor is still standing, still fighting, but we're doing it with smoke in our lungs and shovels in our hands. And if nobody else is watching, then it's up to us to make them. In my final segment, I'd like to let you know that I've started contributing articles on Medium. That content is aimed at the national stage to get the folks in Washington and the big metros to finally pay attention to places like ours. Patreon is still in the works. That'll be the place for people who want to really support this platform directly and gain access to special reports, deep dives, and behind-the-scenes material from this block's beginning. My cookbook, A Book of Seasons, is now live on Amazon, and I'll have personal copies ready later this week. My next cookbook, Saucy, is being finalized. It'll be submitted shortly, and I'll keep you in the loop. And finally, my next major project, a book that defines the past, present, and future of the Foothills corridor. It's underway, and I'm deep in the work. I'd like to sign off now for the Hickory Hound. Thank you for listening, and I hope you'll be back for the next time.